Hey YouTube, Monty53 here. Sunday afternoon, enjoying 673 Savinelli with some, I don't know if you can read that, haunted pirate ship that I made back in February. Trying it for the first time. It's been sitting for a month and it's tasting pretty good. It was back in early January on one of the Matches live videos that he was doing. I was thinking about making this, so I asked some questions. The Matches answered, and I believe also Cliff Higgins answered my question of how much of a haunted bookshop and pirate cake you need. My goal was this jar of the mixture, and they were talking about how it's a 50-50 mix. So I went and made this jar, and this was, again, like I said, early January. And where this jar is going is up to deer camp in October for our archery season here in Michigan, in the Upper Peninsula. A lot of the guys up at deer camp bring their pipes and cigars and stuff, and we just smoke and at night and have a good night playing euchre and all kinds of different card games with my uncle, cousins, and my aunt. This past fall, I introduced them to Matches. I was telling the guys that they need to see this guy. I had been following him for almost a year and was taking part also in the live videos that Matches hosted on Friday nights. And I said, you got to meet this guy in this community. It's pretty cool. So last October they watched some of his videos, and I can't remember if they were able to catch a live video, because if I'm not mistaken, when Matches went live on a Friday night in October, I was still sitting in a deer stand with my bow, waiting for deer to come in. It was still light out, so I had my phone with me and I was watching you guys live from a tree stand with some earbuds in. But they loved his videos, and well, my uncle and my cousins got to see Matches videos and live feeds for about, three or 4 months, and then of course he passed away. But today I thought I would smoke this and do a little tribute to Matches and one of his pipes, Friday Night Savinelli 673 with some of that haunted pirate ship tobacco, and it's tasting really good, and I can't wait to take that jar up in October and share it with all the guys at deer camp, and we can all toast to Matches in October. But I wanted to couldn't wait too long, so I just made a little mini jar for myself so I can enjoy it here at the house or when I go camping here in a few months. And I hope everybody's doing okay here on Sunday. Normally I'm outside if I can, if it's warm, and today it's gonna be 47 to 50 degrees, but I was just outside working in the garden, and my allergies started flaring up, so I decided to come down into my workshop. It's not the nicest thing compared to other people's workshop, but I do have a workshop in my basement. I work on archery equipment, golf clubs. I love to customize my golf clubs, buy components, regrip my golf clubs, build golf clubs. I've been doing that for 20 years, so I'm starting to slow down on building so much of that stuff. If my buddies need their clubs regripped, I help them out, help them save some money. But behind me, right over here, are soap making supplies. And one day I'll tell you about one of my weird hobbies. There'll be a story about that. But this here, 3 years ago, my wife and I started getting our own soap making products, bar soap. You go to a farmer's market and they sell bars of soap. Well, I didn't realize how easy it was to do it, and different oils, and I do what's called cold process soap. I don't do hot process yet, because I just really don't think we need too much of that. It's pretty easy using these basic oils. The Everclear you can see back there is for something else, not for soap making, and it's not for drinking. It's just for cleaning stuff. But what you're seeing behind me is all my soap making and the bench where we make our soap. Behind the camera is where I work on my bows as well, and also the golf club. I have a bench back behind the camera that I work on golf club equipment, which I'm getting excited for because spring is in the air, and I think everybody needs to hopefully get outside and just deal with this for a few months, this coronavirus crap, and we'll move on with our lives and have a nice summer and a nice spring and massive barbecues and camping and all kinds of fun. But I wanted to share, speaking of the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and deer camp, I have another funny story. Seemed a lot of people like my daughter's story from last week, about her yelling at the city workers in our driveway. This story, and before that, the cool thing about this workshop is right above me is a vent fan that runs outside. So as I smoke down here, it runs up and out of the house. I didn't put that in this house. The guy who lived here before me did it, so I appreciate what he did. Anyways, back to the story. This would have been a year and a half ago, September of 2018. When it comes to deer hunting and bow hunting, my brother and I, my aunt and uncle have property in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. So my brother and I like to go up ahead of time, about a month in advance, and check our tree stands, and we have a bunch for cousins and relatives to use and all that. And we like to get them all set up and safe and make sure we're good to come up in October and have a safe, fun trip for 5 days. But we go up for a few days in September, and the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, the people up there are wonderful, but they're unique. My grandfathers, both my grandpas, one of them actually came from Italy when he was really young, and then at some point moved back for a few years. But then my great-grandfather came back to the United States with a family and said, we'll live in the United States, not Italy. My mom's dad, his dad, came to America in the early 1900s and served for the U.S. Army in World War I when he came over and stayed and had his family. So majority of my blood comes from Italy, but my grandmother was Swedish, and my grandfather loved his blonde-haired, blue-eyed ladies. So my grandma and her sister, who lived in the Upper Peninsula, their father was a lumberjack. I have a lot of family who's still in lumber up there. They came down back in the 1940s, and my grandma met my grandfather, and I think within 6 weeks or something, they were married. I think that's how the story goes. So anyways, my point to that is that I have a lot of family in the Upper Peninsula. So there's not like there's not Italians up there, but there's mostly Swedish and Finnish people in the Upper Peninsula. And everybody knows everybody in this town. My family lives near Iron Mountain, which is near the border of Wisconsin on the western part of the, center to western part of the UP, Upper Peninsula. We call it the UP. And the people up there we call Yoopers, and they call us trolls because we live underneath the Mackinac Bridge, which divides the Lower Peninsula and the Upper Peninsula. So my brother and I go up to check our tree stands and visit with my aunt and uncle, stay there at their house for a few days and visit, have a nice time. We go up, it's about mid-September, and it was a hot September that year in 2018. I mean, it was like 80 to 90 degrees, which is really unique. Sometimes they're having a frost around that time of year, and at this point, it was hot. So when my brother and I left on a Friday morning, I didn't need my jeans and boots and all that on at that point, so you pack all that up. So I was wearing my sandals, khaki shorts, and a polo shirt. Yes, it was a pink metallic looking polo shirt. It's what I had cleaned. But I put on this polo shirt and we drive up. So after about 7 hours or so, 7.5 hours, I mean, we did some stops on the way up. But it took about, 7.5 hours to get up there, maybe a little bit more. We arrive. And while we were there, my uncle's like, hey, we need to go to the store. And the store is in a little country town. I mean, there's no light, nothing. It's just, they live near Felch, Michigan. And if you turn before you get to Felch up this country road, you go up to the top of the hill and there's a little grocer there, a little general store. So we go with my uncle. Now mind you, my Uncle Dan is 6'5", and he's German. But he's a very tall guy. And on a good day, I'm pushing 5'8". And my brother's a little bit, he's taller than me. So you got two Italian-looking guys and this tall German. We go to the country store to get some stuff, their general store. And we walk into the store. I've been there a lot of times. You know, I think the lady behind the counter gets used to my brother and I, because we go, a couple times a year up to my aunt and uncle's, hunting and stuff. So we walk into the store, and leading us in is my Uncle Dan. This old man, I don't know if I was related to him. I don't think I was. He walks up and he looks at my Uncle Dan. He's like, "Hey Dan, how's it go?" He was gonna say going, and he stops dead, looking at my uncle, and then turns his head and looks at my brother and I, and gets really quiet, and then looks up at Dan, like there's a problem. And the guy looks back at us, and he has this real, where are you from? He goes, "Are you guys from Chicago?" And I'm like, no. Metro Detroit area. Why? You look like mafia. Oh, no. You're Italian. Well, I'm an American, but yes, my families come from Italy and immigrated to America. But yes, I guess it's in our blood. Yeah. So yes, you could say we're Italian, but we're not from Chicago. Oh. Okay. And I almost busted out laughing. But my brother looks at me and he hits me and he goes, "It's that damn pink polo shirt you wore." So, I guess don't wear pink. And it wasn't all pink. It was more of a metallic pink. But I can't defend it because it was what was clean and in the drawer. And I wore it. So, that's my story. And that's the UP. And I'll have more stories of the Upper Peninsula. So I hope you guys enjoy your Sunday. I hope I don't know what to say about what's going on, but I just hope you get through this week. We'll get it day by day, week by week. And we'll make it through, and pretty soon, all those people hoarding all that red meat, those burgers, the chicken, all that crap, you're going to want to have one hell of a barbecue here in a few weeks because, my God, the grocery stores in Michigan are hit bad. I mean, my kids alone are out of school for the next, 3 to 4 weeks. But other than that, I mean, I've got toilet paper, and I'm a soap maker. I want my man card back because people make fun of me for making soap. Well, I got a crap load of soap, and for once, I'm looking pretty good with my wife because I got a lot of soap. Other than that, we're doing pretty good on this side. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you next Sunday. Take care.